in the market, things that like waiting government they do, and how in the affect price, profits, and other things there, and we own self life. Small business or big business or manufacturer or investor or farmer or all get for the inside the big market talk. So sit down, open ears, listen, and join we participate every Tuesday 5 p.m. na True Talk Radio 98.5 FM. Also with the build strong business for strong country. Business not for just make money. Now the engine where they push the economy go before. From that businessman who will make them for sales to that entrepreneur where they do massive innovation where they shape the country in future. Kushe and Kabo now the big market. Also where they talk about business and how for make business go and change real life. Every week we get for the talk about the things that where they happen at the market, things that like waiting government they do, and how in the affect price, profits, and other things there, and we own self life. Small business or big business or manufacturer or investor or farmer or all get for the inside the big market talk. So sit down, open ears, listen, and join we participate every Tuesday 5 p.m. na True Talk Radio 98.5 FM. Also with the build strong business for strong country. Business not for just make money. Now the engine where they push the economy go before. From that businessman who will make them for sales to that entrepreneur where they do massive innovation where they shape the country in future. Kushe and Kabo now the big market. Also where they talk about business and how for make business go and change real life. Every week we get for the talk about the things that where they happen at the market, things that like waiting government they do, and how in the affect price, profits, and other things there, and we own self life. Small business or big business or manufacturer or investor or farmer or all get for the inside the big market talk. So sit down, open ears, listen, and join we participate every Tuesday 5 p.m. na True Talk Radio 98.5 FM. Also with the build strong business for strong country. Business not for just make money. Now the engine where they push the economy go before. From that businessman who will make them for sales to that entrepreneur where they do massive innovation where they shape the country in future. Kushe and Kabo now the big market. Also where they talk about business and how for make business go and change real life. Every week we get for the talk about the things that where they happen at the market, things that like waiting government they do, and how in the affect price, profits, and other things there, and we own self life. Small business or big business or manufacturer or investor or farmer or all get for the inside the big market talk. So sit down, open ears, listen, and join we participate every Tuesday 5 p.m. na True Talk Radio 98.5 FM. Also with the build strong business for strong country. Famble Kusha and welcome to yet another edition of the Big Market Show where they come to you on Tuesday at 5 p.m. on True Talk Radio 98.5 FM. You can same way so watch me live on Facebook when at True Talk FM. Same way so you can join me on YouTube when at True Talk 98.5 FM. If we don't follow through Big Markets na a program where they look at the private sector, and in previous episodes there we don't talk about access to finance, we don't talk about how the private sector they contribute to the economic development, and today we can look at a very critical topic. So we can examine a critical issue in the heart of national development, how public contracts they shape economic progress, and how the private sector and civil society they intersect for ensure accountability. So today's conversation they be guided by the report where the Institute for Governance Reform pool where they title the aid by the case, a Creole phrase where means say the heart of the matter. The report be look at two major revenue generating national contracts alone, when are the Wellington Mashakato Road concession and the national e-passport contract. So according to this report, the total they generates an average of approximately 21 million US dollar annually when every year, where if you add and to the past 9 years, they don't get about $172 million. But over the past 9 years, government only receive $1 million from this money, where the National Revenue Authority receive. And also on the e-passport contracts, an estimate of 60 to 70,000 passports they be issued annually, where they raise about 7 to 9 million US dollar every year, with limited public evidence of royalty payment into the government consolidated revenue fund. Additionally, the cost of salon e-passports they range between 100 and 180 US dollar, where they among the highest in the West African region. So that figure also there is important question about transparency, value for money, oversight, and ultimate development outcome. So today we can look at solutions, responsibility, and collaboration, particularly how the private sector and civil society organization they work together for strengthening governance and ensure that national contracts they benefit the citizens then truly. So I there with two gentlemen where I go allow them for make they introduce themselves. So the man on my right, please introduce yourself to Fambo them.
Fambulem, una good evening. Mina Melvin Furi. Mina the cluster lead for the inclusive private sector development na IGR.
Plenty thank you, Melvin Furi, for joining me today at the studio.
Thank you.
Yes, so himself can introduce yourself.
Fambulem, Radio Land, Mina Woi Mamadou Timabari. I happen to be the chief country coordinator for Network Aid Africa.
Alright, plenty thank you, Mamadou, for joining me today at the studio. So before we dive into the discussion, I want for make una know say important for make una understand why this discussion is so matter. Public-private partnership and government contracts then necessary for infrastructure development, innovation, and service delivery. However, the IGR report don't suggest weak oversight, opaque agreements, and limited public disclosure where they reduce developmental impact of the contract here. So before we can start the discussion proper, we be send one of we reporter. We go conduct vox pop with people then where they use the toll road, and also the one day we get passports for make we know how with now the cost of passports and compare to now. So we can get the video, please.
Mina Ali Ibangua, but the ever used to call me Ali DT. Organizing section soon at the Shell Loggy Park Division. Like this toll gate, I say alhamdulillah, praise God. The past government we passed, we didn't think say the money baku. But for we the drivers here, we still say the accident case go down small, minimize for the past government. Could be 4,000 years or some vehicle, then small vehicle, and then then van, then the other van, your car may pay trillions. Which present government can put 5,000, then now 10,000, will be 4,000, pay 5,000, will be 16,000, long over 200,000 exorbitant for we. One, this toll gates which we pay, and the land last man we not already pay for the money. This was the transportation we never take for go. We did never get the money for pay that toll road day. One get the benefits. One at least know the road we pay for the toll gates. Somehow decent. No, the point because we are facing racism. We know how Chinese today. If the Chinese say they collect our money that we earn, we want the drivers then they find road. Now one, then two, at least the money so it's sufficient. If we don't put enough for small, we are drivers then. Ready for they always with the government, with law abiding, no any sort of distraction. And this present government we don't kind of power, sincerely, deal with the driver 24/7. I would say driver in which they wish that they need follow it. So we they always repeat what our government says. We are neutral person. We want to go the right way, only about nobody is ready for serve the nation, we president in law we do them. So at least the government of the day we say they put down the price of which money services we will appreciate. Then the road making all this you say the road service don't say because problem with the fuel, they get accident, but then case then they so be for that so for government. Mr. Parliamentarians then we now citizens in this country. Then we thought and fit say driving and we professional job. We don't want to do anything bad, anything stupid towards tomorrow. They will begin say why this, why that, why this. And we all Makit testify since when we present government kind of power, it better more than the one before. Because we don't get any hala anything we say at least we government expect see this we go beyond system. But we need to understand it. We are not about the people then. So the police governments parliamentarians say at least yes, but it's we even if can go up, we have no option, we are not about the people then. We accept. No people not strange for that we work out the most kind of because we presidents they say which is tell we it's left court. We need for support and full. We are the drivers union presidents and we are first gentleman. So I tell the Prince Tinky, we now in the drivers there, on the border there, on everything. We are sorry for we they for serve the nation. After presidents and this country here, and the Brazilian president, then can second and the biggest union and the one who comes. No union which president, the Brazilian president and the country here. If everybody say for one day mean a lot, and we know that plan for nobody says.
Me now Mohammed, to be frank enough, these toll gates are really fine, but no more the Chinese people no able for do waiting they be say they for do for the citizens in the country. Then I be so feel surprised where they can ace the price up because the price the way how it be there before it be somehow manageable, you know. Then moreover the toll gates, the road how they can make the road it not even take years. Then it don't begin, you know, give some kind dig, you know. I feel say then one thing back where I be the feel say where they say toll road now is area now a special road where you they can buy that particular area you make for other vehicles there. But they can't make the country a road where they can meet, they just can't add on. Then they can make some kind they can sign some kind of contract where you know even they in favor of the citizen and the country. You don't see? Then now they take and say not to compose it, but other vehicles and they then get some other bypass them. They know they go all they know they go through the toll gates all the toll gates them. They can go sometimes two toll gates then get other bypass at least for let them able for economize themselves. You understand? But when they see the Chinese them, they go block the areas and they like
Business not to for just make money. Now the engine where they push the economy go before. From that businessman who will make them for sales to that entrepreneur where they do massive innovation where they shape the country in future. Kushe and Kabo now the big market. Also where they talk about business and how for make business go and change real life. Every week we get for the talk about the things that where they happen at the market, things that like waiting government they do, and how in the affect price, profits, and other things there, and we own safe life. Small business or big business or manufacturer or investor or farmer or all get for the inside the big market talk. So sit down, open ears, listen, and join we participate every Tuesday 5 p.m. Now True Talk Radio 98.5 FM. Also with the build strong business for strong country. Welcome back. Remember say the program where you they listen to na Big Makit where they meet you live on Facebook when na True Talk FM and same also on YouTube when na True Talk 98.5 FM. If you they listen na your radio, the station where they listen to na True Talk Radio 98.5 FM. Today topic of discussion are contract and development, how the private sector and civil society they intersect. And are there with two guests, we na Melvin H. Foye, we na the cluster lead for inclusive private sector development, and Wuri Mamadou Tambabari, we na Network Aid Africa Chief County Coordinator. Now we can start the discussion proper. So I can start with Melvin Foye, we na the cluster lead for inclusive private sector development. So from the topic itself, we talk on today. From a private sector perspective, how you think say contracts they influence development, national development?
Thank you very much, Kalma. this family is a very important topic because we all go agree the private sector an important player in development. But in the case of saloon, government, the way we economy structure, the way we do right now, government now the key driver of economic growth for now. Other countries now the private sector strong, but we're not a developing country, so we expect government to provide a lot of services. How government is providing services there? Service like for do roads, for do good hospitals, what you call public goods. Government they contract, they make contracts through different types of ways. They contract the private sector, say we no sabi make road. Now una na the experts in making road. Una can make this road for we. Una can do this hospital for we. Una provide this service for we. So when government decide for do their development thing there, and they contract the private sector. Now it make the private sector very important when it comes to contracting. Because now them get for deliver on three things. The first one, now value for money. Every contract is stipulate waiting for achieve. Now, for achieve that day, you get to get a high quality private sector for able to deliver quality value for money. The next one, now job creation. In providing them service them, the private sector, they create jobs. They get for employ engineers, they get for employ business managers, they get for employ different people them for creating job them. So now that way they contribute to development. And the third one, yes, in some cases government can provide their service there. But we the people them can say government not a good businessman, not a good service provider. Who say you money not the who say you interest not you know there for make money. You need to get interest to provide quality. So in terms of quality and innovation, now make the government the contact the private sector for let them provide all the service there through a contract. Normally high can happen. You get different types of contract. You get international competitive bidding through the procurement process. You get national that for international companies. You get national competitive bidding. You get the different. You get sole sourcing. Different categories of contracting them. Also, some work then where government not get the money for. And so, but some private sector they play at them. Some people then they within the private sector, whether a financial institutions so where either multinational agencies, where they outside salon, we go get the money. One way we government go attract that money for minus go take it as direct loan. Some people can say no, I get this person when I expert in building roads. I will get this money for let a build this road. But again for recoup this money and pay me back. So you ain't go talk how una they arrange for let una pay me back. So now that then can call public-private partnership. That is where governments they come inside. Say I want to do this big expense because a big expenditure where government don't get the money up front. But you know want to take outright loan. So you decide, say I want to do this but I want to do them through a public-private partnership. So if you're a private institution, whether a direct sourcing or whether a true bidding, but you will get a private institution, we go then say, okay, me and you the partner, not go to this bank, this financial institution, I'll go take this money, say that a project that they can do. Will agree on terms and conditions. Sometimes, most times, them projects they call them capital intensive projects. They can be long-term projects. So governments they enter into a PPP agreement. PPP agreements are very You
Waiting the
get
PPP stand for?
public-private partnership.
Okay.
The agreement can be build, operate, and transfer. When that the person the builder, it operate am for a while, they transfer am. You get an extension of that when I build, operate, and own. Build, own, operate, and transfer. When means say the person it build the asset, it own them, it dey in name
Okay.
for a specific period of time. During that period, it operate am. Whatever I make out of am, na him own. Then after the end of the period, it become a transfer.
Okay.
It take transfer am back to government because the saloon people get saloon. Now government gets they in charge of saloon. So other methods than they we get for do with contracting. But critically, one thing we want to emphasize, the private sector in PPP very important for get into because now one way infrastructure development not to team way the money ledoyanda. It require huge sums of money. So instead of government deprived schools, other institutions, other public service for let them provide then good Sunday, then we say okay, Lord go do this PPP, Lord can deliver on this, and that happened with the toll road.
Yeah. I
And
think
nothing wrong in doing a PPP because it's a crucial bit, and because of that, government say okay, let it work. In this case, with the Chinese company, we then go now the Chinese Exim Bank and go get this money, and then they can set up and do a PPP. Yeah.
all right, thank you. Well, at least you don't explain explicitly the importance of contract for national development, make mention of infrastructure, make mention of employment, and so many more. But make we look at these reports where IGR just pull, where they call it the 8-party case. What you going for say concerning that report today?
It's an interesting report, and it's we all for welcome this report, the people them, because you see when government and then private sector people here they go into contract, we not did it, but government get in your interest, the private sector person self get in your interest. Now government interest and for let is supposed to be for serve the public. The private sector interest, yes, it want make profit. Who side the important thing there? How you dey get a balance? That means how the private sector person go make profit, but also government also go ensure say the people benefit from that work with the private sector person they do. So because of that, government enter that contract there. But we don't know we the public way government enter contract into. We don't know waiting fully there inside the contract. And we over the years, we don't get complaint. We don't get they just increase the toll gates fee. Before even the road done, saloon people begin pay toll on the road, and that means that we own oil them they take for flyway. Make the road now we own money they use. So we IGR look and say that road they generate money, but still the average seller are asked to pay. Waiting the apple that road, waiting the apple to contract. Now we understand how government they enter into them kind contract here on behalf of the people of Sierra Leone and whether it benefits Sierra Leoneans. And so we begin the research. Inside this research, we ask Coleman, where this contract? The first thing first, the contract asked for C. Nobody know they give you the contract. Nobody know they show we who signed the contract. So that's not the number one challenge. We ask the relevant institutions with the whether na parliament, whether na SLRA, who still gets challenged for no almost this contract here government don't go into. Yes, a good thing for doing Freetown Masheka toll road and everything, the benefits, economic growth, motkade the past day, goods and the past day, the average man they count in goods from Waterloo, from upline to Frito they able to transport, and that would be less accident. But good thing will come up from them. So it's good. But we want to understand almost that they collect in that whole day. And whether saloon the benefit or salon the benefit. So I ask all the question, find out if you get difficulty in actually determining waiting that they collect. Now say well now self go count. And now go put to your machine there and now we count because we're not able to get data. So go there, we install the machines for over 25 days. We collect 600 hours of footage. And we count almost Mutkadi pass all through that 25 days. We do have 2 terms. We do have the term where they can call peak hours. Then at December, we all go agree say December all man go upline. All man go spend holiday with a family in the provinces. So that's peak period. We do another period we call the off-peak period. Wherein now then during the rains, most people need to travel that time during the rain because the season can also done. That's August, September, that period. Okay. We watch the old tool. The machine we deploy now AI sensitive. It means say it watch, it able to identify each of the type of motorcar. If na keke pass, it identify. If na Okada pass, it identify. If na small car, big truck, it identify. All that they happen, waiting come out of there, but that we estimate say based on which we don't count, the toll would they make over $21 million annually. They make $21 million annually. This contractor then give for him the tell say it cost $148 million. Or I later then see they give you and grow up I think 150 something. But originally it was $148 million. The next bit, they say they give for 27 years. Alright, they don't spend 9 years. For this 9 years, almost they don't collect total. We estimate say $172 million they don't collect inside just 9 years. That means say based on which we count with the aid money per the cost of the road, it don't come out. Now profits no more. What we estimate, we'll get some formula in this thing where they do the calculation. We should say even if you discount at 8% or 10%, this road here we able pay for them based on that cost. They say if na saloon government may go take around here 48 million. You add the interest and everything of 5%. That 148 for them able pay for them in 9.6 years, in less than 10 years. So 17, we actually say, wow, 17 years left. Waiting here for happen a profits no more. Problem not only for the company, the private sector player, make profits. That's not a problem. But in making that profits, then the question is, what is saloon they get out of that profit? Because you get money, don't they? That means it's possible, say, by the end of the 27 years, you will make up to more than $500 million, more than $500 million. It means say you do 3 times or 4 times the cost of the road now you for make throughout the length. We think say it's fair enough for less saloon benefits. So we'll get that data there. Now call the one institutions that we in charge. Who say we don't until we ask now and not give it. We don't get this data now. Do ya? Wait till na say this now we wait till we don't pull. And well, conversation happen, discussion happen. During that discussion then tell we say, in fact, SLI in that institution we in charge for supervise the road. say they don't ever do vehicle count. So what we IGR, small IGR do, they not ever do it in 10 years. That's a problem. Then now that thing we get for understand, say, throughout these 10 years, or almost 10 years, what this road done in existence, where then they collect this over 172 million. Now only $1 million. They don't pay to the government of Australia. This is a problem for we at Nigeria. Because this is not a revenue source. This is not what you can call the main artery to the economy. In that road. We now the government for the make money, because government need money also for do other type of things. Some other things by the contracts and they not do. So we say this is our concern. It should be a concern for we, even though we want, me a private sector development specialists. I always want for let the private sector grow. We always want for attract foreign direct investment. We always want for attract do public services or public goods through a public-private partnership. But we think say it's important for let the country not loss. I mean, the question we ask, what in make a Sierra Leonean or government of Sierra Leone will go into such a contract? Now him will call the 8 party case. The question is, why we go sign a contract like this where the country the loss? We ask that question there. So from a private sector perspective and relating to what they talk about, yes, it's good for government to give contracts to the private. The road, toll road are just one of the contracts. The other contract they were in the where you explain about the passport. You go hear the vox pop. But the passport is short, then they make between $6 million to $7 million. Then pay $250,000 to government as royalty. Then they write back to government say, no, we don't pay again. We not give it back to $250,000 because in the agreement they not made it. So na gentleman's agreement. Again, it generate $7 million annually. Government never gets anything. Yes, we want to let the private sector be inclusive. But think that they will this the impact and the private sector. But I all and so forth and allow you for.
Yes, I think so. You already don't answer me. Third question, so far we were asked. Witness some of the challenges then we wanna face, we wanna try for go in for data. As you make mention earlier, wanna go ask for data, but wanna not be able to forget. So then they lead for make wanna self go install something they wanna able for access the information there. Well, I go only the small make a talk with the Mamadou when I ACSO. So from civil society perspective, they can also call on the watchdog of governance. I mean, I believe say you don't see the reports where IGR put. What do you think of the report first before I ask my next question?
The report generally, it's an eyesore, and we do know that within the space which we all day, IGR they play a key role in terms of data driven, where some of our institutions they utilize for plan our own programs. So when we see the 8 case and read through, surprise we, to be honest, surprise we of waiting come out, because we do know that something within the tool no real, and there's a lot of questions around, but the IGR can add more evidence to the claims them and assumptions then we and things that will be put forward, you know, to our members of parliament and other sector players. So at this moment, actually, I really want for tell thank you to majority of the CSO. We stand tall in the time when the Ministry of Works and the Chinese company, they just grab seed and they can institute one thing, you know, without any consultation. And that's they bring a lot of CSOs then together, organizations then come together and write, say no, enough for supposed to happen. So we need for sit and discuss about this too. And that will bring a lot of conversation at the parliaments, back and forth, position papers upon position papers, discussion upon discussions until it reached now well. And of course, there was a increment, and that increment for us, we see again that it was not friendly to the public, and it was a dismay, you know, to the widest of imagination. Because why do I say that? Now that's one of the key factors, with all due respect to our parliamentarians and the House. Now that you know, behind the scene, I want to say kudos to a lot of other members of parliament that were supporting us. But there are certain things within, as we say, within our constitution, where the tie our parliament, most of our parliamentarians, for let them come out plainly and talk, say, yes, we are in governance, but this particular, as we bother say, within the 8 pan the case. 1.8 pan the case is a particular section within the constitution where they allow parliamentarians for talk actually within the people they want, but if for toe the line of the political party. That is 1.8 pan the case we know we need to allow parliamentarians to say their mind. And when that happened and we present most of those position paper, one of the things that we see that was backing on all the way to not talk so now, yeah, the DG at SLRE make it very clear that they never had the opportunity for get access to the data. Not what they talk about. We don't say long na parliament. And one of the things that we come up within the various categories about somebody will not get nothing for lose not the toll. One of the person will get nothing for lose not the toll, get not the drivers. Then call the drivers salon, the drivers union into the table, and they make categories. No, this category for cops, so this one for, because also they make them say tankers, you know, and they separate the tanker them and bring other players then inside, and then bank on the drivers union, and we say no, the drivers union they are just carrier. The people that we get where they buy the tire, where they buy everything, now the vehicle owner, whatever where the driver buy, we pull for the money, it reflects to the vehicle owner. We get the vehicle and they buy. You know, so why drivers union force at the table? We don't get nothing from us. You know, so at the end of the day, that is one of the pitch we bring the increment and the segregation of different categories. I want to say within the private sector, of course, we definitely agree within the civil society that the private sector are playing key role. And we also consider that there are certain aspects within the private sector that are also civil society. We even though we understand that yes, they want to make profits, but in making profit, they are also providing services. And that services they give for look at the human face rather than the profiteering. And within that profit, we also want for we know say we get different sector in terms of private sector. We have the national, where most times we talk about we own keke riders and everything. They are private sector. They are running their own business and make their own money, and so also contribute to the services of the state. The one that would be freed, now the one that will have the multilateral. The multilateral in a way the government and your government to go discuss. And inside the government will go discuss say this particular business will go do £1 with private sector them that they will go implement this project. I hope you understand. Inside the 8 and the case day. The one where they can do the implementation, not to do the bidding. It's a discussions with bilateral discussion between two governments.
Okay.
And inside the two governments, then get one sector now they talk say they can do the implementation. Now the agreement they can with go parliament. And that agreement they will go parliament. One of the things again when at the 8 on the case, parliament they reduce A or add B by any agreement. Either they agree totally or then disagree totally. This is another aid on the case.
Well, the case they don't they add. Well, if we look at national development, must say, like that kind of concept there, una as a CSO body, una can monitor, una can get anything, una can do like for monitor how things then they happen, or una can just like wait for make the call una.
No. As your brother say, one of the things that we try very, very hard for do, of course, we most of the civil society and human rights organization also push for open governance initiative. Now, for most of them documents there, they at the liberty of the people, meaning if for they on site, if for they at the website, if for they not to hide. But most times, if you go there, you receive very few other contract, but some other critical contracts you receive it. And if you also go na the parenting ministry, where maybe they oversee a particular contract, you go to the website, you see. If you go na the public sector, where we borrow, you get the private sector, like one of the things that we consider as a public sector, a part of the now the MDs, like for instance, which we brother they talk about SLRE. SLRE is a public sector. We get the MDs, which is the ministry. The branch inside in a way they deal with them thing they win at SLRA. You go now the site, you know this is a contract. You know, so for we as CSO, one of the things that we can always the push for, we it's hard for it happen within the context, but it happen in another country then. Now what they call non-business venture. And in non-business venture, now outside civil society, then they include them into the contract for do monitoring. That is one. Or public education. That is 2. 3, awareness raising. Meaning for tell the people and waiting inside the contract, waiting beneficial inside the contract and waiting not beneficial inside the contract. Whether if the government, like we brother talk, so whether if the government they adhere to in part of in contract, or the other private sector person they also adhere to your own contract. So that is the buffer. So many of the talk say no government, this particular private sector where they can invest, you the bully them because you be supposed to do A, B, C, and D, you need to do them. So you need to able for like you're doing job. Or no, private sector you be supposed to do this and this. You need to get the government, so the government they lose. That is the way. That is the place where we CSO supposed to be seated. But it's very hardly for let them bring we to the table.
So I can get challenges them.
Yes, for bring we to the table, for able for provide that buffer, for let everybody feel satisfied in most of those contracts. So we not they get answer to the contract until, as you say, we do forensic investigation and get the documents. And once we get the documents, when we flag them up, now then they become you know, a public ISO. But to tell IGL, thank you for bringing out this.
So like where IGL don't pull this report, so which role on they play for ensure say the public then be aware of such.
Okay, so it just don't add to most of the case and position paper will be put to parliament. So what needs to be done now for engage further that okay, we don't get this IGR ion and waiting we safe we don't get, and let we do a consensus and bring and come to parliament again, and not only to parliament, and not only to parliament, and also to the supervisory ministry and also the public sector player, which is SLRA, for there we discuss wetin go be our position, because one of the things we make am very clear, this toll gate, it gets areas where they talk about the concession day. The concession, nothing happened itself. You know, that day on something different. It gets an area where they talk about every 3 years the contract needs to be reviewed. It has never been reviewed. So we don't know why it's still not been reviewed, or why our parliamentarian no they call, and not so they change anything, but call and talk say this particular contract is now due for review. So now they with it.
All right, so I'll come back to you, Melvin. So how open private sector structured engagement be for, for make them be for engage with civil society organization, they like for like partnership? How open private sector be?
All right. So the private sector, now interesting space. By the nature, now a competitive ground. And because of competition, they not want to open themselves because they want to keep their trade secrets. What they can call trade secrets, your business intelligence. And so that's now concern for the private sector. But it is in the interest of the private sector for let them be transparent. Well, I want you to give me 1 minute. Now reflect on what my brothers and
Okay, go ahead.
See, the civil society. Okay, IGR get this view say, with salon we need for refocus with attention. We don't talk too much about political governance. We don't get elections. We don't get anti-corruption drive and the rest. But we still struggle with development, and for that development be impactful in the life of the individuals and the ordinary Sierra we get for look at how that ordinary Sierra they grow economically, they benefit, they earn too much, they eat their livelihood. So that make we think say it's high time civil society and us start talking about economic governance of the state. How the states they govern the people. Critical by this talk by economic governance, you get different pillars. But 2 pillars were important now for know how government they make money and how government they spend money. That they the role of civil society critical. If we know track that, civil society suppose under knowing how government they make money and spend money, civil society for able to monitor procurement and contract implementation. Today, I don't know if my brother knows say it's not procurement, but Parliament just don't ratify or pass through and the Jola concession, the oil company when they manufacture locally. It's a good thing. We want local manufacturing. But the question with civil society for be ask itself, what's the content of that agreement? What do they provide? Anybody don't do the analysis, the economic analysis. We show a raw figure of waiting the concession way government. So you give a 5-year GST, for instance. That 5-year GST na lost government, they lost revenue. How Jolax in operation go return down the equivalent or more of that 5-year exemption of GST back to the people of Salone? Anybody don't do that economic analysis there? We need for look into transparency and accountability. I just use, of course we need companies, local companies, yes, that company is doing well, we need investment and everything. But ethically, it dey on we as civil society, we as private sector players, we as government, for ensure say the ordinary people are benefiting. You understand? So the whole, another role of the civil society is to look at transparency and accountability. We talk about the contract. Maybe one cites something critical about the contract, but I want to ask a question. You physically see that contract, that agreement for the toll road? Have you physically saw it?
Yes.
And so you see, how you able to see them when other players not able to see them is another aid by the case. And that transparency, I don't need forget, it should not be a favor for me, even as an ordinary citizen, for that able to access that contract. I should go to a website, I should go to somewhere and go look at and say, okay, yes, and do your analysis. Of course, accountability. The toll gate get machine. We don't need for count. SLRE might not need for do vehicle count. It just need for it ask the operators at the toll gate to give them the data. SLRE say they never give them the data. How we civil society for all the private sector player accountable to doing that is important. Also, we civil society, all the time the time where I can see civil society they make the loudest noise, and when it comes to politics, that's when they rear up the public. But we need to go to the public and ask them about their economic well-being, their welfare. We need to amplify the economic voice of the people, and at that day we as civil society that I will get for play in the economic governance of the state. Amplify the voices. Each time pepper they pass that road, it increase the price of the pepper. The pepper may be cheaper, but by the time that truck driver don't calculate all it get for go pay that toll road, they charge the market pepper woman go the commoner farm for counter. There. This is where you go left and there. This is how practically that toll road they affect the life of the economic life of the ordinary citizen. So we need for talk about them. Now back to private sector. You see, they talk about how ready the private sector is. First term, the private sector they see and civil society by as they get what they call adversarial, because civil society they talk boku, then they make noise and this. Even one recently we try for do some market research on contracting and procurement and stuff like that. Some private sector players don't want to talk to we. Not talk to enumerators. Not to know me one. They not talk to enumerators. It took some time for them to ask a question. The reason why they don't see the benefits where it will benefit them. Or anything say something one can which hunt them. Because all the time civil society na blast no more than the blast for people raise concerns there and there. Now make the whole of the civil society need for change. From an adversarial, wherein all tell you to confront. Like what you wish IGR do with this contract. Yes, it's scandalous, but the goal not to for shame anybody. The goal not to for give bad reputation, bad press to anybody. The goal now for let we get transparency, accountability, and let the ordinary Sierra benefit from that toll gate. Now make in all the conversations, you see we know they say corruption, so corruption. It might not be outright corruption, but we find out say the state they lost. So that adversarial approach need for change to a collaborative approach. My brother make mention of something important. The civil society not just pay for side government. We there for the people. we the middle between the private sector and government. If you dey play middleman role, it means say you dey watch. If the private sector like the referee, if the private sector play the government foul, for blue foul, you get yellow card or you get warning. If the government safety foot the private sector person, we the civil society will say, no, government they want to do this person bad. When we do that, it open the space. It make private sector believe in we. It make government trust in we. Say we dey here, we watch on our too, and then contract there. You, that is what the contract say. Government, that's what the contract say. This is how. If you want, like for instance, you get some cases where they don't cancel some contracts then in the mining sector. It is. Those cancellations, I don't see nobody fight for the or investigate and bring arm out the private sector. The own part of that cancellation day. The private sector only gets recourse to court for go and confront government at court. But with the civil society, that is a clear case of saying, government, yes, you don't cancel that. Yes, you think it have been bad contract. But this now the fault of the private sector player. How will this affect other people that for can play in the private sector space? Now that is called inclusivity. How it bring other people around. When we dey play that role, we need for recommend open contracting. Where contracting can, you see, the Afrobarometer report. Sorry, I digress a bit because we need to understand the context of this report. Not just about the toll gate. It depends. We watch over 3,000 procurement contracts. Then there's a picture. There's a system. We need to talk about. And if you're talking about inclusive growth, we are in a government and the main contractor. Now they provide main business for the private sector. We need to find a way we go inclusive.
Okay.
So
I think say time there. I guess we don't.
Give me small time.
Okay.
Let the operators then give you small time. Then go beyond with time.
Okay.
Because we must start quick as well. But the Afrobarometer report on corruption identify business executives, that businesses, the private sector players, as the second most corrupt, prone to corruption after the police. Imagine say businessman corrupt past parliament. It's an indictment on the private sector. And based on that indictment, the private sector need to reflect internally and say, this is not good for us. People not trust we. Because everybody they say that very few people they get government contracts. There is no inclusive, they open. So if not few people they get government contracts and then few people they get richer and richer and the rest of mankind in the private sector is getting poorer and poorer. They are very good private sector players. We ethically they're not corrupt, they're doing their business well and everything. We need to get that space. We need to sit down the private sector people and say, let's come with a pact. We're going to grade on any business where they do well, we transparent, or they mark you A, or they give you a platform. Just like how we can hold government accountable. We need to do the same for the private sector. All this, I make it important for us to talk about the toll road, because if we improve the private sector space, we will improve the economy of Sierra Leone. We will make more businesses come. And more businesses come, more businessmen come. It will mean say the economy will grow.
It's plenty thinking, Melvin. So when we have a bit of talk just now, he make mention of this year, so the whole them we wanna play and also wanna kill wanna focus. So before I ask my next question again, it's we go say or add to that.
Yes, just want to say that the CSO space is a unique space. and as I say earlier, even to the private sector are part of the CSO space. But just because they get that little bit of profit with the inside it, you know, make them become self-isolated. You know, they isolate themselves off and believe that we just want to do we own thing the way how we want to make it do. And it's a tight secret space as well, whereas the CSO space is not a tight secret space.
Okay.
You know, so when you want to get involved with them, it become very, very hard.
Okay.
And I also want to say that there are a lot of CSOs that are playing economic governance. IGI is one. Yeah, and we also have BAN, where they play a critical role. All the CSO never play the same role. We also get Wabin, where they play that same role. We also get this economic justice network. You know, we also get native consortium. Then they within the space. So once they pull waiting as opposed to pull that hinge on us, we all they converge and take a decision or take part as I say now waiting IGI don't police it don't also affect beyond programming, how we do programming and how we raise awareness in our own sector. You know, so that's the role where most times and the CSO we get different ways at which we approach things. I will tell you for free that I mean the CSO is not adversarial, but there are times that you had to be on the punch for ensure that there's a change, and there are times you get to do diplomacy behind the scene for ensure say things change. You know the kind of radio, but things are changing, and there are times you only do public education and allow the people to take decision, you know, on their behalf. So these are the different roles that we CSO they play.
Okay, so this question I go to at one or two. And I think say contract transparency realistic. Because just take a look at this. You able forget access to the data.
Yes,
you say and you able forget access to the data. So when I think say contract transparency realistic.
For ask us
how you able forget the data, how you able say
you know, as we say, one of the things in terms of where we only for push for, as you remember I talk about, you say we talk about more of governance. Governance, when you push for open governance initiative, you tell the government say you need to be open and transparent. And open and transparent means them private contract them bills the way they sign, put on a website. Let everybody get access to them. But if you go on the website, then you know the deal. You know, and if you also go to the private sector, we win the contract. Say you page where you get and whatever to you do, put on there, you know the see on there. You know, so these are one of the things that we only for call for. It's a public document. Yeah, we don't say parliament. They not only they draft the agreement, they are only go for who puts a blessing for Japan. For let the private sector not say okay, this is the government they be on, you know, but they also need for ensure that I mean, not all some them publish some contracts, then publish some agreements, some they will and then publish, some they will not publish. So you know, so all need to be published. For me, I want to say yes, it is achievable, as long as the negotiators, meaning the ministers, because they go negotiate contracts. The one the way the ambassadors where they negotiate on our behalf for put inside the contract that this particular contract need to be posted in our various medias.
Yeah, you bought something.
It will become more easier.
Yeah. So my brother say, of course, on the political governance perspective, they are pushing for open government. I think we need to move a bit further.
Okay.
We are saying Susan cut before them and start deliberately begin track and publish these procurement contracts and make them public in with through an independent window. Maybe it's not in the interest of the government or in the private sector for publisher. But we as civil society and we in the economic governance space for push towards creating that transparency by having our own window and deliberately publishing this contract. In that way, we could force. So it's like if you get a contract there now, you get in your own website in your institution or at IGR, we'll try to create a procurement portal or procurement report system where we track procurements where they for happen and where they happen and do a quarterly or annual report on it. We aggregate and publish them. In that way, the way they still self they do them, then go begin do them. So that's one way. If possible, for there would be some of course in other countries what they do, there are some information that are sensitive. So they redact them. They will publish the report, but the part where they don't want let it public and they forget strong justification, there should actually be a law that guides that, that says we redact this one and we black them out. But still you will access the non-redacted aspect of a day. And that will help in transparency. Because we don't see, you see the private sector thinks here we just talk, but this discussion and this transparency with the actual will help the private sector significantly because they get political risk. When you sign one contract with one government, the next government can they begin watch that contract so we'll cancel or will not see anything and this. But if they are transparent in the term when they sign the contract to one government, we civil society supposed to say, okay, would they middle they get for now. Once they open their own, they make themselves more transparent for we. We go see say we go cancel, we refer so that we protect them even when the next government arbitrarily cancel the contract or come out of policy will go affect that agreement there. Because right from the initial beginning there is transparency in the beginning, and that's why it's very crucial that the private sector hold this discussion with Tuan. The Silent Chamber of Commerce, they are the key representative of the private sector. They should champion having a transparent and inclusive private sector. Because when you start to be transparent on your own, possible talk for you. If you don't put in a contract, this year we don't see you make money, definitely. You understand? We don't see you, and nobody not stops you from making money. But if one thing that public say that's why they make money, once you know say that genuinely you they make the money, clear. Other person can do you bad. Now we the civil society and the general public will raise concerns, say, hey no. So for instance, this oil business, fuel, you get one batch where they sell lower, you get one batch where they sell higher. We are at loss now. We don't even know what they inform that decision day from one company
to another company.
We know if we so one company one get case. Not many. Okay, you mentioned a couple of CSOs, where they watch that. But much voice, the citizens' voice were not heard enough. Now Edmond will grab and but the other company where they said almost had a case with government. Nobody ever fought for them. Initially, for me, know how them set up and start and be transparent and this. If they able show and call we say on a camp, now this make could they sell this lower price. Don't we will fight for them. We government go and say no, we will not sell lower price. You understand? It's the same to the mobile company. QCell versus the other one there. We can put the floor. They want sell below the floor. They say no, not for sell below the floor. If they were if they open themselves to we as private sector, as civil society, they open themselves to we see how they give you the reason why they could sell below the competitors, not to for just outbid them. Now we say the total effects now we now ask NATCA, why are you subjecting these people to floor price price, floor price, rather than price ceiling. You understand it? So those are the things, and that's why an inclusive private sector is important, because it helps, and with transparency, boku other things will happen.
So true.
All right, so I think we did plan for roundup. So just like how you don't say as a CSO and you a private sector, when I come together now, with now one practical step on I go take for ensure say, I mean, unable for push national development in contract like this.
All right, so I will start from my own point. So
Okay.
first, maybe as I say, them economic justice, civil societies there need. Of course, we know that one of the key person that really deal with the private sector, now NRA. NRA they deal with the private sector more, and we see when it comes to taxing and all of those stuff. We go on for say let's have a broader discussions of CSO private sector forum. Yeah, where we go kill some of them misconceptions there and drive away how we could work collectively as a body. How we go spend the money, I don't know. Yeah, but we get the private sector and civil society in one room and discuss the critical issues there. Say, hey, listen, we are all then at the same space, but we use different approach for serve the same people. So how could we be of benefit to each other? And this is the way how we go for work and ensure say nobody no 3 foot in company inside this particular space. So maybe that can be one of the means. And then one way, we also need for let the referee not be player back at the same time. That's not the critical role where the same public sector, not the ministry, not to the ministry, the 3 foot people, is the public sector. The public sector are the one where the ministry they oversee the private person. I hope you, for instance, let's say NATCA. Yes, no, the DAs, the authorities and the departments. Yes, where at the end of the day, they're supposed to regulate, but now they want to interpret the regulations and they want to do the referee and the player at the same time. You know, we get to do with the floor price. You know, where we also raise. You know, most of the other people in say, no, that's not supposed to be so. Not only they put, if they for we, basically, if the person want for sale 50 loans, let's sell 50 loans. If you say your floor price is 90 loans, and the person say, no, for me, I sell 20 loans, you don't need for tell and say, no. You for sell plus and below 50 loans. If you not go 90 loans, but 50 loans. No. That is not an inclusive space. Allow the private sector for sale how we want. Then go buy. Allow like sell how you want, but let you not sell at the peak where go detrimental to the citizenry. Now they will not they team up. But for say no, if for the power pan high for sit no, that's impediment.
So going for
That's not your last word only.
About 4 things get for happen. For let we get a transparent, inclusive private sector. 1, government procurement. We have to have access to this data. That's the only way we need to protect public interest. Today, now you didn't have tomorrow, other possible can. If the other possible can lie by you, will not get anybody for say yes or no. That is 1. 2, it is in the interest of the businesses for do ethical business. For themselves, let themselves transparent. Their business people, let themselves become transparent. And show we. So we send good buffets for them. We then face challenges with government. 3rd one, we want to talk about the civil society. How we, the civil society, for come together. We want access. Of course, we need for build the capacity of civil society among ourselves, and then we need legal protection. we okay access to information, rights to access to information. The law dey, but how effective it is it biting, is it timely? If your rights to them, the rights to parliament for the contract or the respective institution, how long will it take? Will it be material enough for me? Those things should happen. It's let we all come together in a room and get that capacity training, talk about the access, and organize yourself. So as part of we own initiative, IGI, we recently launched SOA, which we call SOA, Sierra Leoneans Organized and Working for Economic Rebirth, SOWER. Mainly, this is a another one call and coalition, a group of Sierra Leoneans, but mainly through media houses. So currently we get partnership with community radio stations, community media houses, because they are critical for we hear the voice from the general public right down there. Because conversations are only happening in Freetown, and the one they don't get down, they need to hear this conversation, and they don't know how impactful it is to their livelihood. So we think we take a broader approach for create SOA. All civil society members are welcome. We have also what is called Roots, where very soon you will be hearing about that advocacy as well. These are all platforms we're establishing to have this conversation. The final thing that needs to happen is that the donor community needs to step up and come behind this fight. Yes, you've supported governments in establishing the oversight institutions, in strengthening oversight, in fighting corruption. You've supported some civil society space in political governance, conversations, elections, and the rest. But I think now it's high time we start looking at economic governance and funding discussions around economic governance. Yes, private sector development normally involves direct delivery to the private sector players. It's good. Building their capacity, providing access to finance. Those things we'll be talking about on this program. That's part of private sector. But there's an element that is missing in Sierra Leone, which should be inclusive and transparent private sector. And the only way we can talk as much as possible. But if we don't have the resources to reach the last mile, to support the radio stations, to not just talk about elections, but to do programs that talk about the economy, that talk about the prices of goods, to link, if resources are not there to fund that network, to fund that operation, it's difficult for let we talk about that. So that's the role of the donor community in building an inclusive and transparent private sector. So for me, going forward, those four things will happen. And the private sector, the last word, the private sector for serious fight has not against them, but for them, for improved transparency. Because if there is transparency, you don't need to go bribe the government official. But you spend more money for bribe the government official, and then at the end of the day, then cancel the contract to the next government can. How long you will continue for bribe the next government, bribe the next government, bribe the next government? Say one day no one will come and give big case, your business close. So it's also in the interest of the private sector for come on board on this fight and make the sector very transparent and inclusive.
Okay, plenty, thank you. Melvin, I think we go do the cotton. I want to say plenty thank you to Melvin H. Foye, we Costa lead for inclusive private sector development, and also plenty thank you to Wui Mamadou Tambabai, we chief country coordinator for Network Aid Africa, and owner also we don't listen the program today. On say plenty thank you. We don't be the host for today. Me na Maria Makalmamara. So till next week. Tata. Business not for just make money. Now the engine where they push the economy go before. From that businessman who will make them for sales to that entrepreneur where they do massive innovation, where they shape the country in future. Kushe and Cabo now the big market. Also, where they talk about business and how for make business go and change we life. Every week, we get for the talk about the things that where they happen at the market, things that like waiting government they do, and how in the affect price, profits, and other things there, and we own safe life. Small business or big business or manufacturer or investor or farmer or all get for the inside the big market talk. So sit down, open ears, listen, and join we participate every Tuesday 5 p.m. na True Talk Radio 98.5 FM. Also with the build strong business for strong country. Business not to for just make money. Now the engine where they push the economy go before. From that businessman who will make them for sales to that entrepreneur where they do massive innovation where they shape the country in future. Kushe and Cabo now the big market. Also where they talk about business and how for make business go and change real life. Every week we get for the talk about the things that where they happen at the market, things that like waiting government they do, and how in the affect price, profits, and other things there, and we own safe life. Small business or big business or manufacturer or investor or farmer or all get for the inside the big